Professor, I used to love reading your column every week, and one thing that is less economic and it's more social that's been happening recently is the discourse, particularly throwing around terms, very, very harsh terms like calling people racist as a sort of a go-to place, particularly for liberals against this administration. We heard it last week. Michael Cohen's testimony in front of Congress. He started out by saying what a racist President Trump is. What would you say about that, particularly with regard to President Trump? Do you consider him to be a racist?
I don't know enough about the man to know what he is, but I would like to see any such accusation accompanied by something that we can test against facts.
Well, you certainly have heard the charge anti-Semitism against him, despite the fact that his daughter is a convert to Judaism, his son-in-law is a Jew, their children are being raised in the Jewish tradition. Kind of hard to make the case, and yet you still hear it.
Well, if people have never heard those things because the media filters out things that go against what they believe, then the charge can stick no matter what the facts may happen to be.
Professor, I almost hate to ask this question because you're so honest about things. You see things straight on. The future of America. I mean, do you think that we are destined to go through a period of socialism, a period where these ideas that have not worked, no matter where they've been tried, and certainly wouldn't work here, will be tried here and could bring down our country?
Well, the predictions of economists do not encourage me to go far in that direction. But I do have a great fear that in the long run, we may not make it. And I hate to say that, but and the one thing that keeps me from being despairing is of course we don't know. There's so many things we can't possibly know, and so we may make it, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Thomas Sowell, you really are a great economist and a treasure for.
Yeah, man, he's on his way out. This is a little bit of an older clip. I think this is before Trump got elected again. But to his point, Thomas Sowell, absolutely hated, Trump getting into office his first term. You can go back and see videos. He had nothing really nice to say about this guy in the political sphere, right? He didn't think that he had the chops to, even run for president, let alone be president. Now, with that being said, at this stage, he still believes that. He still didn't like Donald Trump as president, especially going on in the first term. He's changed a little bit now, but even with that, it would have been an easy one, right? It's Thomas Sowell's a black man. You're lobbing a softball to a black man about a guy that you don't like, and you say, "Do you think he's racist?" And a lot of the people in this sphere, they would just knock that out of the park. Of course he is, or whatever. And he's just being honest. He sees that this is a propaganda army that has coalesced and thinks that this is the only thing they have left. And the reason why this is the only thing that they feel like they have left is because that tool, that racism tool, is a cudgel that can instantly crush your opponent, right? If it's used in a wise kind of way, right? You can instantly stop any debate, anything like that. People will hide immediately and run for the hills if they can put that title on you, if they can espouse that to you, as a person, you're gonna run. You're gonna run because you don't want to be called that. So what ends up happening in these situations? What ends up happening with people that find themselves put into this category and they just stop talking? I found that. I just stopped. I stopped posting. Why? Not because I was saying anything bad, but because I had support for someone that they were saying was a racist. Therefore, I'm promulgating racist views and racist talking points and racist ideology. And it's crazy. Like when you think about it. So it's somebody throws a label your way, and because that label, because they paint you with that label. Now you can't say your ideas. You can't say what you believe. That's a crazy notion. It's the only way to really subvert the First Amendment, right? You can't. If it's legal, if speech is legal, whatever that speech may be, the only way to stop it is to have people self-censor, is to have people not say what they believe, is to basically abolish the First Amendment for themselves, to stop themselves from speaking, right? So when you have people that are berating you, and they're coming at you online for this, and that. And they're not challenging what you're saying. They're not challenging your ideas. You can be making an economic argument. You could be making a philosophical argument. You can be making any kind of argument you want, and they will not tackle the argument. What they tackle is they disparage your credit. They try to come at you from a completely obscure angle that has nothing to do with what you're saying. It only has to do with you as a person, and they're just espousing these views against you as a person, not your ideas. And it's disgusting. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm sick of social media and all that it's all nonsense, right? Somebody puts up a 5-second post or whatever. And what I'm doing now, what I'm saying now, the things the ideas that I'm trying to get out there into the world now, it's to be free, right? It's to express my views, my opinion, and people can say whatever the hell they want. They can comment. I will never block the comments. I will never block the comments. Come at them. Say whatever you have to say. But I'm going to talk now. I'm going to say what I want to say, right? Because I've been silent for a long, long time. And I think that more and more people, it's not about arguing. It's not about arguing. It's not about picking fights. It's not about, trolling. I'm sick of the trolling because, it's fun. It's you get a few laughs out of it, but what's the substance of the argument? What are we saying? What are we talking about? How do we progress, society? How do we help our family and friends to understand these points? And the points are complicated. The points are complex. It's a GIF and a meme. They're fun. They're funny, and they do move us in a good direction, right? But they don't help people to grow in their understanding of these issues. The only way to do that is to talk. The only way to do that is to get in front of people and have a conversation. And they're going to push back against you, and you're going to have the knowledge to not only push back against them, but to dismantle what it is they're saying, because your ideas are thought out. When somebody comes at you and says Trump is a racist or whatever it is, right? You're going to have the knowledge base to go past that surface level that they're espousing. They're just saying a word, and you're coming at them and you're bringing information. That's the difference. The difference is get yourself informed, get information, understand the issues, right? Understand why you think the way you think. Why am I here now? What has caused me to get to this point in my life? That's what you have to do. And once you have that understanding, because most people don't. Most people think the way they think because the algorithm has programmed them to be like that. And you could say that about me, right? But I came from another side and transitioned and progressed and thought and did things that got me to be where I am today. Thomas Sowell is an absolute treasure. He's getting up there. Take a look at him. Listen to his videos. Listen to his works. Don't just accept what it is he's saying. Let him make the argument to you and try to counter it in your mind. Right? You're never going to believe everything that everyone says, and you shouldn't. Nobody should. Nobody can. That doesn't make sense. The only people that do that is a hive mind. Right? The only people that do that are cult people. You don't want to be in a cult. You don't want to be a hive mind. You want to be your own person. You want to have disagreements along the way. I disagree with massive amounts of things that Trump is doing and said and stuff like that. But I got to those conclusions on my own, and I can express them. I can counter argue them. I can argue a counterpoint to them. I can steel man them. I can straw man an argument. You have to get to a point where you understand all these things, and you can sit down with somebody and get them to maybe not agree, right? But they can't say you don't know what you're talking about, right? They'll throw out a phrase, and that's fine. That's fine and dandy, and it rhymes or whatever. But that's all they know. Get yourself educated, understand these issues, and you become more free. Thanks a lot, guys. Like and share this video. We'll see you again in the next one. Thanks a lot.